What was there, 3 of them or 4 of them?
They were there.
I was like, why are you stopping? And then
Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 of them. There's like no chance that these aren't frozen.
No.
There's no way. Right. Oh.
No, definitely frozen.
Well, not completely frozen, but too frozen to stick. It's like frost inside of them.
Yeah.
And it holds the detent ball from locking in.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on a project that we've been wanting to do since this summer, but we just ran out of time to do it. And since we're still waiting on a few key materials to get to work on the inside of our cabin, we decided to work on that project now. The first thing that we have to do today is take down all of the trees in this strip behind me. And the reason for that is eventually for our permanent solar setup is going to be back here to the right side of the cabin. And over the last couple of years, Chris has been studying the sun and the position of the sun, what's going to get us the best solar. For the entire year, the best spot is going to be right here. It gets a lot of sun, and unfortunately, that means that all of these trees in this location have to come down in order for the panels to get nonstop solar. The spruce trees back here, we're going to take down and run them all through the sawmill and use that for some other projects. And then all of the older birch trees, unfortunately, are just really rotten in the center, and we don't want them to fall. They're a fall risk on the RV and they're a fall risk on the cabin, so we're just going to go ahead and take them down. Then what we need to do is move the RV, which is what we've been wanting to do since the summertime. We need to move it closer to the cabin because all of our off-grid power supply is in the RV, and in order to get power to the cabin while we're working in there, we need the RV to be closer so we can connect to that power. We do have really short days though, so we're running out of daylight, so we're going to try and quickly get all of these trees cut down.
Now that I'm out here, I'm getting cold.
We got our first tree down, and so Chris is coming over with the skid loader. We're gonna get all of the brush that we can't really utilize in a pile, and then we'll put that in our big brush pile later. This birch tree was a little rotten inside, so anything that is salvageable for firewood, we're gonna separate that and put it in our firewood pile from some of the trees that we cut down in the spring.
like rolled off of there. It
Yeah.
didn't fall the way I wanted it to.
We just got the last couple of trees cut down. We have a little bit of brush left to clean up tonight. We want to get all of this cleaned up out of here so that way we can get the RV moved. So we have to get an early start tomorrow because it's going to be a very busy day getting all that done. So we will see you guys in the morning. Good morning. We have another beautiful day today. Last night we went in for a quick dinner, and when Chris came back out to continue clearing some of the brush up and get it out of our way, there were a couple of moose that had already found our brush within about 30 minutes of us going inside. But Chris was eventually able to get everything cleared out of here. We still have 2 more trees down here that we have to chain up to the skid loader and drag them out of here. And then we have to disconnect everything from the RV and get that moved. So we have a really busy day today, and we're gonna go ahead and get started.
We have to move this fuel tank stand today, and I'm pretty sure that these little deck foundation blocks are probably frozen in the ground. So we're gonna have to start up this diesel heater and just let it blast on these things for a while until they get thawed out, so hopefully we can pull them up out.
You can hear like the igniter or whatever.
Maybe.
Oh, no. What are you doing, big boy? What do you want, Stinky? What do you want, Stinky thing? Now will this one start?
I would use this, but like this thing barely puts out any heat.
Yeah.
just gets this compressor warm enough, it'll... I think it's enough.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Hopefully. Oh, now it's saying hi, so that's a good sign.
Hey, it has a temperature now.
Yeah.
We never did that before.
Never?
Well, it didn't do that this last time.
No.
It's still not building pressure. Dang it. I can't believe we ran out of propane. Well, nothing's working this morning, I guess because it's pretty cold. It's really not even that cold, but I guess it's cold enough that things aren't working properly. But the big heater for some reason won't turn on. The smaller torpedo heater, we ran out of propane. I didn't realize we were so low on that small tank, so now we only have big tanks, which I have no way to hook to with that small appliance. So as a last ditch effort, we're going to try this little diesel heater and see if it thaws it out. I don't know if it's going to have enough BTU to get that to thaw or not, but we'll let it sit here and heat on those little foundations for a while and see what happens. What I could do is if I got them all up here, I'm almost there. It's kind of going to be in the way, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's out of fuel.
Oh.
This is going to take forever.
Yeah.
The other side's loose. Yeah, it's loose.
Perfect. So that means...
I just gotta get this side loose. It's still really frozen because I put any heat on it, but we should be able to chip away here. Now we finally got these foundations loose, we can get the rest of everything unhooked. So we gotta unhook the fuel tank, we gotta unhook the solar, we gotta get these tire covers off. We're gonna get the engine started and get this thing warming up, and we also got to get the generator running because since we're disconnecting our fuel source for the main heat, we're going to start the onboard generator so that we can run a couple of space heaters inside, just keep it warm enough so that nothing freezes while we're moving everything around. We haven't disassembled our storage shelf in here yet. That actually goes through the steering wheel, so we have to take that out. We have the seats removed in here so that we have more room since we're living in it. So we got to remove this shelf, get it apart. And we also got to drain our water tank and get it apart. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to try and get this engine running. That way this thing can run, get warmed up, and pump the air suspension up to get it off of the ground. Let's hope it starts. Haven't started it for
Couple months.
4 months. Let's try it. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Shoot, it's idling really low.
Yeah, it is.
It's like 200 RPM.
That one wasn't frozen to the ground.
It's probably popping up off the ground.
Oh, you're probably right.
My hand's freezing. In order to use the drain plumbing from our shower and when we do dishes in the sink, things like that, we just have an adapter hooked up here to PVC pipe to drain that water directly out so it doesn't go in the tank and freeze. It just free flows out and we can get rid of that gray water. Just get it disconnected here. I'm just trying to get it up out of the dirt so
Yeah, so it doesn't drag,
yeah,
get run over.
so we get where we're going. 50 yards away. These are just the breakers to kill the power coming from the solar panels. There's one. There's two.
Are you able to put like one of those cinder blocks on top?
I think you can make it worse.
We're just about ready to disconnect the fuel line from the RV, and so I came in here to turn on the generator and switch off of inverter power. We need to run these electric heaters to kind of keep the temperature above freezing in here and to keep it comfortable for the dogs too. So what we're doing is I have to switch off the inverter, turn on the generator, get these space heaters plugged in, and then Chris will be ready to disconnect the fuel line.
I'm kind of worried about the RV being able to back out of here because we had it on blocks of wood so it wouldn't sink quite as bad, but somehow, I guess just because the ground gets so soft here, it was able to push down enough until it basically pushed the board out. So it's really sunk on this front end here. So we might have a hard time getting it back out here. I don't know, we'll see. We gotta get this fuel tank moved and a few other things and then we'll try it out.
This camera does not show how deep that actually is. Is that what that is?
Yeah, they're like bugs that were attracted to the smell of the fuel.
I guess.
So weird. There's like a fuel. I mean, we still might be able to do that. So I guess what I'll do is I'll get the forks and everything, get it over here,
And I'll try
and I'll get it set. That way, all you have to do is steady it.
Okay.
You're gonna have to steady it on the fork, so because as slick as this is, the ice, it's gonna try and slide off for sure. It's gonna try and slide off the forks.
Okay.
I think it's frozen.
Are they frozen on?
Probably. Just a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
They seen me. Pushing on it.
We're almost ready to move the RV. We have everything pretty much moved out from the front. We just have a couple of odds and ends things to get on the floor of the RV so they don't fall and bust when we move it. And then we have one more thing to disconnect, and that is Starlink. So Chris is inside unplugging that right now. It's just on a metal pole, ratchet strapped to this spruce tree behind me, and it's tall enough that it gets above the tree, so it does get great service. However, the cable is not long enough to keep it here. So when we move the RV, we're gonna have to move Starlink over there with it. Oh man,
What?
it just popped off.
No way. Came unplugged too. What's bad is that it came unplugged. I hope it didn't hurt anything. Okay. Well, didn't go quite perfect, but I think it's relatively unfazed.
Chris is in the RV now. The plan is to back the RV straight back down by the trailers and then pull forward up the driveway and back it back towards the cabin. Hopefully that works. If not, then he might have to pull forward a little bit, but we'll see what we can do.
I'm gonna try and back up.
Okay. Yeah, you're still good.
All right, let me know when I should start turning back towards like the trailers and stuff.
No, that's fine. Oh, there you go. There you go. You're up.
All right, here's where we get on the ice.
You're way far away from it. You're not gonna hit it.
Okay, so I can start coming left again, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. You're good.
Okay. Get around that swim.
Yep. All right. You're under hard, right?
Yeah, now I am.
You're like just on that snow. You're perfect.
It's gonna be at a funky angle. It's not gonna be perfectly square with
That's
the
what
A-frame.
that's what I was just thinking, that it's not gonna be perfectly straight. At the perfect angle.
Okay.
How level
Okay,
is
so
it?
the front left tire is low, and it's only slightly tilted downhill this way.
Okay.
In the bottom.
There's a board in the bottom?
Yeah, like it crushed it. It completely crushed the board.
Oh,
and,
I
like,
guess we did
buried
have.
it. I can't believe how much they sunk.
Yeah, they did sink.
That is a long ways down in the ground. Compared to here, it's like 6 inches down.
Yeah. That's like level with the ground now.
guess they're reverse threads.
Yep, I'm thinking we can cook. I just need to.
Hook up all these icicles hanging out there. Good they break off. I think it needs a little support under here. To be totally honest. Hard to get used to that extra step.
I know, that's.
I'm used to this thing being sunk in the ground.
I know.
Oh, it's frozen. Heavy as that hurt. Is that what you said?
Like leaning your ladder on that,
What on the?
on the chimney that's like crumbling.
I don't know about this part. Oh yeah, that's not.
That's not even, how is that even
Not even
still?
attached.
Oh, I can see the crack all the way around the bottom.
I feel like I should just take this part off and maybe strap it to this part if it's still attached. Strapped, but it's still there. It'd be really hillbilly, but we could just stick the whole pole down in there.
What would it strap to in there though?
Huh?
What would it strap to in there to keep it
Nothing.
from moving?
Nothing. We'll just wiggle. The earthquakes have not been kind to it.
No. Oh my gosh, it just broke completely apart.
That's in here.
No, there's not. Or is there?
No.
Chris is working on finding a strap that we can strap our pole for Starlink to the chimney with, and unfortunately we can't mount Starlink to the cabin yet, so we're going to temporarily put it over here. But while he's trying to find that, I wanted to show you a little bit more of this cabin. We've had a lot of comments recently regarding this cabin about jacking it up and salvaging what we can, and we do realize that this was somebody's dream, and we don't take that lightly, and the guy who owned this cabin just used the materials that he could to build it. But I wanted to show you a couple things as to why we find this not salvageable in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, this building is just one good earthquake away from falling down. Let's go take a look at it. We had initially thought it would be really cool to salvage some of this chimney or do something with the stone from it, but it's just really cracked in a lot of spots, and like I said, one good earthquake and this could really come crumbling down. This isn't the only place where it's falling apart. There's cracks pretty much all the way up the chimney, and yes, that could be repaired, but unfortunately, where do you stop when this cabin would have a ton of different repairs to do, including jacking up multiple foundations. It's not just 4 walls. There's probably about 15 to 20 different places where there's a rotten log foundation, and there's a lot of places where the logs are just rotten all the way up the structure, not just at the bottom. I don't think the camera shows this really any justice about just how rotten a lot of these logs are. They're really just crumbling and falling apart, and you know, we are grateful that this is here. It's been a really great storage place for us for a lot of our belongings, but unfortunately all of these logs would need replaced. It needs an entire new roof, and the whole roof would need to be redesigned. There's a lot of water damage in it, and most of the boards in the roof are rotten as well, and all the insulation would need to be pulled down. So it's just a very big project that would just completely need to be torn down and really just rebuilt.
holding it. Don't even feel like you're holding it. I guess that one's not gonna come out.
Did it get bent from taking it down or from being up in
No,
it?
I think it bent from being like pinched against that tree. Wasn't frozen, we could like concrete a post in the ground.
I mean, it's holding it pretty good right now, but
Yeah, it should. Bad on earthquake, this whole chimney falls.
yeah.
Guess they don't work in the cold. Like 55 maybe? 55
So it was a tiny tree when this cabin was built.
No, this was you can tell this is bulldozed because the way all this is piled up here.
Uh-huh.
And this grew out of the bulldozed area for when they built this cabin. So roughly it was bulldozed. This part was 55 years ago, roughly.
Yeah.
However, I think the other side of the cabin is a lot older than that. Makes you wonder.
That chimney though, what was the date on that chimney? Do you remember?
2001 maybe?
2001?
I think.
Now that everything is hooked back up on the RV, we're going to get to the real reason of why we moved the RV over here, and that is to run electricity to the A-frame. So we're going to head in there and set up some temporary lighting so we can see while working on the inside of the cabin.
14 dust. We are about to install outdoor outlets here off to the sides of where our windows are going to be right here, and that's why we put a hole here, because there's going to be a larger hole cut here anyhow, so this is just an easy quick route to get electric in there. That's fine, because
Yeah, it's just long enough. Oh, that battery light's dying. Good thing we got the plug now.
yeah, the batteries don't last long out here in the cold. A couple pieces. We picked up a couple of these high bay LED lights to try out. Since these are 10-foot ceilings, this high bay light should work pretty good. I'm curious how much coverage it has in here, but we're gonna hook up a couple of these and get them plugged in so we can see when we're working in here a little better. As I wire this with like outlets up in here, we can make it to where there's light switches to turn on different ones, and then we'll just put extra ones up there.
It lights up. It actually does light up this whole side. Oh, that's bright. That's so much light.
Oh yeah. Almost more than one now.
It's dark up here. Woo, bright. I know it seems like a lot of work just to get lights over here by having to move the RV from where it was all the way over here by the cabin, but these lights are going to be awesome for being able to see in here while we're doing our insulation and installing our chimney and everything else that we have planned as future projects. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.